Hey guys, Ryobi King back in today. Sorry, I know it's been a really long time since I've come out with a video, and I promised you guys I would do a giveaway on this fan. I've been a little busy. We're good. I'm back to being able to do this again. But I do have the fan. I'm the winner of the fan. His name is Scott Rose. You commented on my last video. I will leave a comment on your comment to notify you. If he does not pick up the prize within a week, I will redraw somebody else on my next video. So yeah, Scott Rose, I believe is how you pronounce your name. That is you're the winner. So congratulations on your new fan. I hope you enjoy it. But the video today is not about the fan. The video is about the brand new to me, Ryobi battery operated 1 Plus miter saw. As you guys know before, as I've done a video on it way back towards the beginning of my channel, I reviewed the 10-inch plug-in miter saw. Awesome saw, loved it, great saw. A buddy of mine wanted a bigger saw, and I wanted a smaller saw. So I sold him my old saw and just picked up this one from Home Depot yesterday. Very excited because once again, it's 1 Plus system. So we're gonna really try this thing out. I want to give it a good test through some solid wood and see how much power this thing really has. So let's stay tuned and we'll see how this works. All right, guys. So I don't typically do unboxings on this channel because I think it's silly just to know how something comes in a box. But for those of you who do find it interesting, that's cool. That's what I'm gonna kind of do today. Okay, so it does come with the styrofoam packaging, kind of like all the rest of their stuff, all their larger stuff does. These are your side kicks, like where the boards sit on the side of it. You know, plastic, and they're a little different. You know, like before I think they had like metal rods that come out of the side. I can kind of show a picture of that, but these are plastic. I noticed that in the picture. I don't really care too much, to be honest with you. You got this is for holding your, whatever you're cutting down on the side. Clamp. Alrighty. Your typical Ryobi instructions. A nice bag. Also known as the things that I never end up using. I end up just attaching a shop vac to it because these don't do enough. But I do appreciate that they send them with their tools. Alrighty. Yep, as you can see, just a styrofoam. Alright, I'm going to have to get in front of the camera to get this thing out of here because, you know, it's kind of big. So, alrighty. And that is just styrofoam in a box. Boom. There's the saw. Pretty nice. I tell you this, I like it already for one big reason, and that's it's about half the weight of the other saw. I know it's smaller, therefore it's going to be lighter, but that was the big reason why I wanted this, is because it's smaller. So it does come zip tied up. Everything's zip tied together. Just cut those zip ties. That's actually a pretty thick zip tie. Wow, that's interesting. Try not to damage your tool in the process, because who wants to get a brand new tool right out of the package and have scratches on it? I know I don't, and you guys, I know you don't either. Even though it is just a tool, but this is a thick kind of paper. I don't know. It's just your warnings and blah blah blah, things we don't listen to here in the wood shop. Although we should, and you should. Overall, this is metal. This is metal construction around the front here. That's on the other one, that's plastic. That feels really nice. It's just like a smaller package, and that's really what I was wanting for my saw, was a smaller package. You know, the things I do where I use my miter saw on the most, I do trim work, 2x4s, and the occasional 4x4, but 99% of the time 2x4. This will do that, and it'll do it just fine. And plus, it still does have the sliding capability in case I had to cut something a little bit wider, you know, maybe 1-inch material, 1 inch by 6 inch, something like that, you know, if I was doing some kind of planking. So yeah, I mean, it's going to do great. It's going to be a lot lighter. Even though I have that fancy miter saw stand, which I'm going to review here soon, guys, it's so much lighter, which, you know, I mean, just to be able to pick this up like this. The other one, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm Joey Tough Guy or anything, but we all want something to be lighter. If it can be lighter, you know, it's just gonna be more convenient. So this does take a 7¼ inch blade. That's a lot smaller than 10 inches, in case you didn't know. But it's awesome. I like it so far. Let's get it up close, kind of closer look, and you guys tell me what you think. Alright guys, so here's a really cool feature that comes on this saw that didn't come on the other one. It's got a little tool storage. So it's Phillips on one end and then a hex on the other. So the hex is for these bolts that comes with it. Make sure, try not to throw these away because you're definitely going to need them. It's for mounting the plates on the side. And it's, you know, it's just like anything else. I really wish they would have done the bottom, because now you gotta, it's, you know, it's a bigger pain in the butt. It's really hard to do this with in this angle too, but yeah, but you guys catch the drift. So that's where it goes. This goes on to both sides. This plastic that this is made of, this is interesting. I tend to tell detail on product like this, and I'll be honest, this kind of bothers me a little bit. The plastic feels very chintzy on just these end caps, and then the handle where you grip. So I don't think I've ever held a Ryobi tool, even, let me show an example here. Even like a cheaper tool, like when these come out, these were like 20-something bucks. These still had a rubberized handle, and they still don't feel cheap in the slightest. They feel lightweight because there's not much to them, but they don't feel cheap. Lately, on a few other tools, I've seen that they've used some of this plastic. It could be personal preference simply, but it feels like a very cheap plastic. And it's on these side pieces, and it's also on the handle. Would I be too concerned about it breaking? No, I really wouldn't be. I just don't like the use of that plastic in particular. I don't know what kind of plastic this is, but it feels very cheap. I do love the onboard the tool storage right here. That's really cool. I haven't put on the clamp yet either. I'll be putting on the clamp here pretty quick. It's cool. You see right here, it does have a crown feature. I will go over that here in just a minute. But let's get this put together. I'm going to get it put on the table saw, or the miter saw stand, and then we'll get a better look at it. All right, guys. Let's take a couple cuts with this saw. Like I said, there's a pin here. You take that, pull that out, and it comes up. Something I've noticed just right off the bat, the controls are like a little bit different. The trigger has a safety on it. You have to push the safety over with your finger and then squeeze. I would imagine that's because it's battery and not plug-in. I'm not for sure though. It does have an adjustment knob right here. I'm not quite sure what that's for. It just seems to go into this hole for no reason. Kind of strange. It does have shows right here on the side. So this little piece of plastic, I thought that was like a knob or something that says crown. It's not. It's actually, you can set settings, like once you pivot the saw to the side. I'll give you an example. Like if you pivot this to the side, you've got readings here on the side of the saw that say, you know, your different measurements. But this has an arrow that lines up on the side of the saw, so if you're doing crown molding, it gets your measurements perfect. It's pretty neat, I guess. The truth, I guess we'll have to see how it cuts. So let's go ahead and take a couple cuts off this 2x4, and then we'll see where we get from there. First cut. You know, I'm pushing a little bit. I'm trying to kind of stall it out to see how weak it is. Pushing like really hard. I mean, yeah, you're gonna get bad cuts. I'm not doing this because I think I'm gonna get clean cuts. I'm doing it to see if it's got the power to do it. And I'm pushing all the way down, and it's cutting all the way through the 2x4. So let's do a slow cut and see how that comes out. with the exception of my mess up here on the corner. A lot better. You know, you're still going to get splintering. This is only a 40 tooth blade. You know, you can get like a 60 or an 80 and get a cleaner cut. But I mean, overall, it feels okay. I'd say just as good as my 10 inch I used to have. Power wise, you know, it seems to be doing all right. I don't think it will do two 2x4s. Let's try it. Yeah, so it doesn't get all the way through two 2x4s. So if you're buying something to cut 4x4s, you know, this just isn't going to go deep enough. However, the 2x4s, you know, a 2x4 thickness will totally go through. Trim, it'll totally cut through. I'll be honest. It seems to have more than enough power to do everything that this tool is going to do. I mean, 2x4 is kind of your furthest thickness that you're going to want to cut with this kind of a saw. You know, anything that's going to be thicker probably isn't going to be 1.5 inches thick. You know, it's going to be like plain thickness. So, you know, you're talking 3/4 of an inch, you know. So, I mean, it's going to cut through that just fine. Blades, readily available because they're like a standard circular saw blade. So that's really cool. So guys, to give you an overall review of this tool, first off, I did use a 9 amp hour to do this video because on a job, that's what I'm going to use in this tool. You know, as always, OnePlus system, you can use any of their batteries, but I feel like the 9 is going to be it's a stationary tool, so I want a big battery so I don't have to change out batteries constantly. The bag, you know, I mean, so overall opinion of this tool, I'm going to say it's a good tool. It's not a bad tool by any means. Whenever I compare it to my old 10-inch saw, you can tell there's a difference. And I'm not just talking a difference in performance, I'm talking a difference in quality. The plastics that they used on this, like the blade cover, that's the same. But you know, like I was talking about earlier, on the ends and on some of the fit and finish, like on it, just you could tell why it's $200 as opposed to the other one, which is like $260, I think. I may be off on that price, but you could tell why there's a difference in price. Something I didn't realize when I bought this. My other saw, the 10-inch, it came with a laser. This one doesn't. The plastic on the handle, it just feels cheap, which is super disappointing because, you know, you look at the videos and stuff, man, they make it look like such a nice saw. And it is. It's a nice saw. It'll do the job. It'll do the job no problem. But there's just, you got to get that fizz, that feeling whenever you're using that tool that you got a good tool in your hands. And I'll be honest with you, that fizz just isn't here with this saw. I'm going to keep it and continue to use it because it's going to serve my purpose 100%. But like the older Ryobi, they came out with one that takes 2 batteries. I believe it was a 10-inch, but it took 2 batteries. That, if they continued to make that model, that would be awesome because you still get the portability of not having to deal with a cord, but it actually is useful. And I've looked at that saw. I looked at it back when they used to have them out. You know, it didn't have these cheap handles and cheap knobs. Like the knob, like this is standard knob that's on the end, but like this knob, it's real wobbly, and the springs that they used in them. And I know it seems like I'm nitpicking, but if you're gonna cheap out on something as simple as a little knob, you know, I don't know. I would rather pay an extra $20 for the saw and get this texturized. And you know, get some of those cheaper plastic components to better plastics. But that's just me. Is it a good saw? Would I recommend you buy it? Yeah, I would. If you're going to do what I do with it, and that's cut trim, cut 2x4s, basic stuff for the job, you know, framing, that kind of thing, and you need something that you can go quickly and cut your 2x4s with, this is the saw. I mean, it really is. This is a really good saw for that, and especially for $199. It's a really good deal. But it just, I guess it's me knowing that I got rid of a better saw for a lesser saw. You know, because it is a lesser saw. That's, you know, the other one's more expensive. This is a lesser saw, and I knew that when I bought it. I was just hoping it would be to the same quality standard, and you could just tell it's not. It's a little lesser. It's almost like if I went and bought a Harbor Freight saw. You know, that's what this handle reminded me of when I picked it up. This was like I picked up a Chicago Electric, and I was like, ooh, that's just ABS. I don't like that. But that's just me. If you guys don't care, leave it in the comments and tell me what you think. But yeah, I will be commenting on your post. I forgot the guy's name, but I have it wrote down. I will comment on your comment and let you know that you won the saw. And we'll contact back and forth, and we'll figure out a way to get that shipped out to you. So thank you guys for coming and watching this today. Do not let this video discourage you from buying this saw. If you're anything like me, just be prepared for when you get it that it's not going to feel quite to your typical Ryobi standard. It feels a little less, but it does still feel well made to the point where I think it's a good saw. If I had to give it a rating, I don't typically do ratings on this channel, but if I had to give it a rating 1 out of 10, I'd give it a 7. So it definitely gets a C, which is good. That's passing. You know, I got C's. C's are cool. C's are for people that don't want to pay for A's. You know, thank you guys. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, thanks for coming and watching that video today. If you liked it, make sure to click on one of the videos above. And I'd like to thank Scott Rose for being such a follower of the channel. I hope you enjoy the fan, buddy. I know I love mine. See you guys next time.